Portuguese.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and watching us. We are Rumble Pop. Thank you. This is our third live podcast since rebranding the live show as Rumble Pop. I'm wearing a lovely can of soda, and I have a lovely can of soda right here for everybody if you want. I just hold it in my hand. I'll hold the can in my hand here gently, and then shake it.
No, don't shake it.
That's what happens. That's how it gets out the top. The Rumble Pop. Boom! It's like Pop Rocks inside of a soda. Inside of a pop.
What is Chris doing?
Pop Rocks were very dangerous.
I don't know. He's scaring me.
What happened is I made a silly face and now it's frozen.
Yeah.
Like my mom always said would happen.
Right? Yeah.
He's dressed by Christopher Nolan.
That's true. Yeah.
There we go.
You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy.
Back to normal now.
All right. So I'm Donald. That's Kevin. This is Janet. Over here's Chris. That's the soft opening. But we all know Kevin likes it hard. So here comes the hard opening with Kevin. Kevin, take it away.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you in the 24 time zones on planet Earth. Welcome to the most entertaining, most sparkling, most dazzling, and spectacular show, the Rumble Pop. Now I'm going to introduce to you my co-host and co-conspirators. First, we will start with the man who's originally from the great state of Ohio. He is the executive producer and co-founder of The Real Short Box and The Rumble Pop Show. He is Bruce Campbell's number 2 fan. He is DC Comics for life. And if you have a problem with it, he may just pop you in the mouth and knock out some teeth. He was the 2000 Kent State University's Mr. Beefcake. He weighs in at a lean cut 152 pounds of solid vanilla muscle. Ladies and gentlemen, he was just announced as the 2022 second best looking man of North Hollywood, California. He is socially lubricated. He is the original Dom.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
Next, we go to a great...
A little late on the applause there,
Encore.
Right?
Next, we go to a great man, a man who's originally from the great state of Michigan, but now resides in the great Lone Star state of Texas. He is one of the most learned men in America today.
Wow.
He teaches thespians the arts, the techniques of proper acting. He's going to make sure that they get a job in Hollywood or on Broadway. Ladies and gentlemen, he is lovable and always huggable. He is Professor Chris D.
Chris.
I wasn't too lovable or huggable today as I was teasing everyone about the Cowboys losing.
Oh, no. That's perfectly fine, sir. There's nothing wrong with that.
In Texas, it is.
That's how you make friends in Texas.
Now, I'm sure you're packing heat to protect yourself from those who may want to do you harm because of that.
Just the heat that Texas provides.
There we go.
And southern heat.
But certainly not least, a fine lady, also from the great state of Ohio, and from the spectacular city of Cincinnati. She is a talented actress and artist. She was the 2019 West Los Angeles Cubana of the Year. She is the Duchess of many of your hearts. She is one of the greatest living Geminis living today, along with, of course, Professor Turner. Give it up for a wonderful friend of The Real Short Box. Give it up for sister, the jubilant, the jazzy, Janet Lee Rodriguez.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And of course, I am your humble podcaster, the Grand Master of the Jedi and Vulcan Arts, your Supreme Chancellor, Dr. Kevin.
Green.
I think it would have been more impressive if Caesars went, and I'm Kevin.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just Kevin.
I'm just Kevin. Next week.
Kevin.
Oh, Kevin, everybody knows.
Brothers and sisters, of podcast land, brothers and sisters of YouTube community. We're going to have a very fun discussion. We're going to discuss different Oscar snubs over the years, movies that we believe should have won Best Picture.
Yep, we are.
Believe
but
you
first,
me, there are so many.
We have something much more important. Wednesday is a very special lady's birthday.
Mama McKinney.
Yes. Happy birthday. A few days early, Mom.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Mama McKinney.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Wait.
Yeah.
No. Sing it in German. Sing it in German. Sing it in Deutsch.
Hasafasa Sisha. I don't know.
Sausage.
Feliz cumpleaños, Sati. Feliz cumpleaños, Sati.
Mein Deutsch is nicht so good. Yeah, mein Deutsch is nicht so good. But we have a few other people that popped in. We have Maria popped in. Thank you for joining. Gerald, thanks for joining. Dad, thank you for joining. Say hello to my dad, too, because he's also...
Papa McKinney.
Thanks, Dad, for being on. And guess what? Okay, so I just got something in the mail. I'm super excited about it. I got this this little gadget here. It's like it's supposed to work like acupuncture. So it's like a pen. And I haven't tried it out
Sonic screwdriver.
yet. Yeah, kind yes, dude. It looks exactly like one, doesn't it? Yeah. So I thought I would try it out because I haven't tried it out yet. But you're just supposed to. They said that there's like some pressure points that you're supposed to try. And like I think it's like right around there.
Trying it on here.
And you just push it, and it's.
Oh! And he gave himself a tattoo.
Oh no, where'd he go?
It's like our host is down. Somebody's got to get over there.
Uh-oh.
Kevin, you're the closest.
I'm okay.
Actually, Amisha's the closest.
I'm okay.
He's still at home, though.
Whoa.
Might be at work.
Good
Is
lord.
Amish there in case of emergency?
No, he's not.
Oh.
Okay, so let's try this later in a smaller setting, a lighter setting. I don't know. I'm just gonna set that over there. No more of that. Hey, Alex. He's about to fall
What's up?
asleep.
Alex,
Thanks for popping in for like a second. We appreciate you being on, buddy. Alex and I, I don't know if anybody else is going to be on, but Alex and I are going to do an audio podcast here sometime in the near future, probably within a week. And then our buddy Nathan Camp is going to be on for a live audio podcast. So we got a bunch of new stuff coming up in the future here. We've planned out our live shows pretty well here recently, so we've got some really great live shows coming up. We got some battles. We're bringing back the battles. I know it's a fan favorite. We're bringing back the battles. We're bringing back the top rankings. Those are also pretty popular, so it's gonna be a fun time, like in the near future. So I hope everybody enjoys. We are gonna have a special Valentine's Day episode coming up as well, but we're still working on that one. So
I think we have a couple of them at least. A couple of interesting Valentine's
Do we? Though?
episodes. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we'll see. Anyway, so Kevin was talking about Oscar controversy, which is kind of crazy because there is a lot of controversy at the Oscars. I don't know if you guys saw the last Oscars, but one dude just slapped the shit out of another dude live on the air, and that was kind of crazy. I don't know quite how people get away with that.
Did you also see the Grammys where Eddie Murphy made an awesome joke about that?
No, I didn't, but I heard a little bit about that.
Should I give it away on here?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, why not?
Okay, so the greatest thing was Eddie Murphy won. He got a Cecil B. DeMille honorary award at the Grammys. And he goes, so do you want to know kind of like the secret of my success? I have 3 things that you need to do. He goes, you need to pay your taxes. Number 1. Number 2, mind your own business. And number 3, keep Will Smith's wife's name out of your motherfucking mouth.
Wow.
Good advice.
Yeah.
So that's brought him success in Hollywood all these years.
It's pretty solid advice. Yeah.
Yeah. He always has something so funny to say.
I don't blame him for that. Yeah. Well, it's deserved, though. It was the Golden Globes, says Gerald.
He's the one making fun of it because I think Eddie Murphy's one of the only people who can get away with it.
Hey, Alex, I don't know if you know this, but we are getting a new Beverly Hills Cop. I can't remember if it's going to be.
I didn't know that.
I think it was a movie, right? And then they were talking about a television series at some point, possibly, too.
Oh.
So we'll see. Yeah. Could be something. Could be something crazy.
Axel Foley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they played the theme music when Eddie went up to get his award.
Oh, you mean that?
That's called like Axel's theme or something.
Yeah. Alex, Eddie Murphy was finally funny again decades later.
Yeah.
The
Oscar noms come out tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, perfect timing for this episode then.
Boy, I hope Balky's in it. Balky Bartokomous? Balky Bartokomous, I believe was his name. Yeah. Ward, thanks for joining as well. So there was a big slap. That was a huge, that's probably now taken the spot of the biggest controversy in Oscars, right? I mean, that has to be the biggest controversy.
I was a comedian. It's actually someone shouting at me. Like, verbal abuse is worse to me than physical.
Yeah?
I mean, I haven't gotten the holy shit beaten out of me or anything, or slapped by Will Smith, which might have hurt a lot, but it's someone verbally talking back to me that I don't appreciate more.
I mean, that's a pretty big slap there. You can see.
But, like, words do, to me, hurt more, because I remember words over physical stuff.
Look at Chris Rock's face after taking that slap. Let's just pull in a little bit on this. Let's get a pull in just a little bit. Look at that slap face. The man took a hit. Like, you could see it. It's like his face is kind of turned that way from taking a mark.
I think though that the one that got attacked a lot more was Will Smith, and I still love Will Smith, I have to say, even though he made mistakes, I still love him.
Here's the thing.
Thank you.
So I feel like if it was any basic white person that Will Smith slapped, their face would have been beat goddamn red. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like beat red. And probably somebody's nose would have bled, especially if they were an Irishman, because Irish people, I don't know if you ever noticed Irish people in boxing.
Liam Neeson, so if he would have slapped Liam Neeson, you would see like a big...
Oh, big ass. Yeah, if Liam Neeson would have made that joke. Irish. Or, you know who could have made that joke easily was, what's his name? From The Office, the original Office.
Ricky Gervais?
Thank you, Ricky Gervais. I could totally see Ricky Gervais making a joke like that, and Will Smith going up and slapping the shit out of him. Like, and his whole face would have had that handprint on there. It would have been completely beat red.
Oh, yeah. That would have been me, too.
Yeah. So, yeah, some big controversy right there, for sure. We got some comments here. Let's see what we got. Alex says, I'll be back again. Yes, okay, I've got to fall asleep. Later, everyone. See ya, Alex. Chris Rock has an iron will to not return fire. That's true, Alex. Absolutely true. Andrea says,
turned the other cheek.
Hey, he really did. Andrea says, Will Smith forever lost me. Chris Rock reacted so well. She's not right. I mean, she's not wrong. She's right. I agree with that, for sure. Ward says, I remember they announced I Am Legend 2 in the works after decades since the original. Will Smith is working on the project. And then he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars and put the project on hold. Yeah.
On hold.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Ronan? Ronan Joe Chronicles. Wow. Hey, what's going on? Thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. Andrea says, Chris Rock talked about it during his show with Dave Chappelle. Apparently, it was hilarious. I think that probably would have been pretty funny to watch, and maybe I'll watch it later.
I don't say, okay, this guy is a victim. He got slapped and everything, but the one who loses out the most is Will Smith in this situation.
Well, yeah, he had the most to lose, so he really should have just held his tongue and kept his temperament under control, but he didn't.
Or actually, you should have slapped him after the show, like outside, like off camera. You should have done it. Slap them off.
Give him an old-fashioned street meeting, Kevin.
I feel worse because I've definitely said and done things that I wish I could take back. So I'm feeling for Will Smith in this situation. Just so. That's my opinion. I mean, people make mistakes, and it sucks that it was in public. I don't know what show.
It's not getting killed anybody,
Right.
That's but it just sucks.
Like Alec Baldwin last year.
It sucks in this era of being canceled.
Yeah, that's true. We live in a cancellation era.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they won't cancel us.
I watched a TikTok and Will Smith was on there and he's like, I've had it with my wife. He's like, if she can't keep things under control, he's like, that's not my job to take control of it. And he said, I need to move on and I need to be more for me and deal with my life and how things are working for me. and everybody was like, bravo, applauding. Yeah, that's amazing. And I was like, I don't know if this is real. Like, I think could be a deep cut. Like, it could be just creative editing. Like, I literally don't know half the time anymore what the hell is real and what is fantasy. And I could be just going crazy because sometimes I see, like, glitter in the air, and, like, right now, there's a donut.
Oh my god.
There's a donut.
We're in the Matrix.
There's a donut.
Oh my goodness.
I missed it. Next time. But yeah,
Oh
I mean, you know, this is what it is. But yeah, so like, it's like, is it real? Did he really say that? We don't freaking know. So we just have to kind of sit back and see if it gets confirmed. But we'll see.
I do hope, you guys, did you notice that they didn't have on the screen at the last Oscars either, like, the nominees? And then I could barely hear when they were, like, announcing who won or who were the nominees. Like, I don't know, the sound wasn't good for me, and also there wasn't anything written up there. I like to see it written.
Gerald, I bet if I came to your work and slapped you, you would still get fired. He's saying if he slapped somebody at work. But if I came in and slapped you, yeah, I bet you'd get fired.
Well,
I'd still have my job.
I like Chris Rock a lot, and you can say a lot of crap when you're roasting people. Definitely, that's part of comedy. But there is this side of going too far, especially because he does know them. He knows Will Smith and his wife, and maybe you think you're so comfortable with people, but maybe you're not.
She has a hair growth condition. It's not like she has cancer. You know what I mean? It's not like she's
so
she's
why
got a
aren't we talking about
illness.
the fact that that was really insensitive then, you know? That was really shitty kind of Chris Rock.
Oof.
I think Donald was going the opposite there.
I think I'm going the opposite.
I know, and I'm going on the opposite side of it, that both people weren't justified in what they did.
Well,
I don't agree with
I don't
either
think
of
he
them.
went that far with the roasting. I disagree. I feel like that's fine.
Okay.
That's par for the course. Like, if you're going to
think
be
he
out
went
in the
too
public
far if
and he's
felt
got to
like
crack
he
a
knew
joke
them better
like
than he
that.
did.
Jeff
I
Ross
think he
has
went
done
too
far
far.
worse.
I blame
Jeff
both
Ross?
of them. To all of our listeners in the chat, I blame both of them.
Yeah, have you ever seen any of the Comedy Central roasts? They are tough.
Yes, but
They
that
are
might
tough.
not be appropriate at the Oscars with someone sitting 10 feet away from you.
I'm
Well,
pretty
you're
sure they were
closer on
sitting,
a roast.
Right, they're pretty sure they were much closer at a roast, so they were sitting like right there.
But they're not at a roast, and that's the point. You're at a very professional award show, and maybe you shouldn't have been that off color, Chris Rock.
I guess maybe you shouldn't have said that, but you certainly don't deserve somebody storming up on stage and slapping the shit out of you.
That's why
when it gets physical, that's the problem. I don't blame Chris Rock at all in this scenario. I blame Will Smith. Will Smith could have just chuckled and rolled it off and, like Kevin said something later or done something later that was very uncouth, that was very unprofessional, and it would have rolled in his favor. Unfortunately, he took it too personal. He got heated. He got temperamental. He got up on stage and he made it physical, and that's where he crossed the line. It's never appropriate to get physical with somebody, no matter what they're saying to you. You can always walk away. You can always say, go F yourself, go F your mom, go F your mom's family, whatever, you know. You could say whatever you want until you're pink in the face, but you don't go up there and you don't slap somebody. That's the big thing.
I don't think that any of it was appropriate because words can hurt deeper than physical stuff.
I get that you feel that way, and sometimes I am sure that is, but if somebody says they're going to punch you in the teeth, that hurts a lot less than if somebody actually does punch you in the teeth.
Or if someone's making fun of you being bald, maybe it does hurt more than someone slapping you.
I don't feel that way. Have you ever seen her show? I've actually watched her show, Red Table Talks. I've actually been on her show, the Red Table Talk show, and I know for a fact that she's very proud of her baldness, and she even talks about how beautiful it is and how it's completely natural, and she's fine with it and she has no issues at all. So if that's the case, why is Will Smith storming up on stage and slapping the shit out of Chris? Because if she's publicly said it's fine, Chris is thinking, then it's fair game. If she thinks it's fine, if she has no issue with it, if it doesn't bother her. So he did that.
It could be, but why would you roll her eyes?
But he did. Well, that's on her. That's on her to respond that way, the way she did, and it's on Will to respond the way he did. Now, you know, I
can't
totally
say
understand
that I
you.
At least talk back to someone who had said that about my husband.
But I don't think somebody that states
that's just me protecting my spouse.
Somebody that states that they don't have an issue with something and you crack a joke and then you get offended by it. That's on you, man. Like you're the one that said you didn't
I
have a
think you
problem
need
with it.
to know whether or not you're close to that comedian enough to do that or not, and
Yeah,
maybe he
I
assumes
I think
you're
we're gonna
closer to
have
them.
to agree to disagree
You
on
gotta
this one,
know
Janet.
when
We
to
are.
hold
Right.
But anyways,
know when
Yeah,
to
but
hold
anyway,
know when to walk
let's read some
away,
comments and see
know
what people
when to
think.
run.
He's far beyond a mistake, says Gerald. Andrea says people have said far worse things and didn't react this way on TV. Marique says, oh, that was years in the making. Chris Rock had it coming. Oh, boy. Gerald says Ricky Gervais did so much worse at the Golden Globes and he didn't get slapped. Thank you, Gerald. Ernst, Comedy Central roasts are wild, says Ronan. Yes. Andrea says, regardless, you don't assault someone on television. Chris Rock's comment was so mild. Hey, Chris, or I'm sorry, hey, Cliff, and Chris at the same time. Criff, hey, Scott, thanks for joining. He says, hello there. Andrea says, I've met people who work for Will and Jada, and she's not a nice person. I've heard the same thing. I don't know if it's true. It's what I've heard. Andrea says, let's not let Will Smith ruin this Oscars, too. Hello, Evan. He popped in. He says,
hey, let's not let
it's
Chris Rock ruin it either.
and David is here too. Hey, that's great. Hello, Evan and David. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, David. So I'm gonna go ahead and pivot here. So Janet and I don't get in a fight later. We're not gonna actually get into a physical altercation now.
She's gonna come over and slap her in the mouth.
You would win in a fist fight.
Maybe in the street later she can come
you would
at me.
win.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you, Frank. G.I. Jane 2. That could be a great sequel.
Speaking of beating people's butts.
Scott says that whole situation is now begging us to look again at how we respond to comedians. Haven't you seen other stand-up comedians getting stuff thrown at them? The overall point, what are we doing? Yeah, I mean, precisely. If you listen to a lot, real quickly, if you listen to a lot of comedians that talked after that, they said this set up a really bad precedence. They said it invited people to become part of the act, to get physical, to come up on stage and to get physical with them. And a lot of comedians instantly felt like they had to dial back the way their comedy was landing because they were afraid somebody would come up on stage and attack them. And I think that's the whole point of that, is you just shouldn't get physical, and if that had to happen in order for that message to come across, I guess then that had to happen. But still, it's not nice to say bad things, and it's not nice to slap the shit out of somebody on live television or in a back alley or at Kevin's dentist's office. I told you not to do that, Kevin. It's just not polite.
The only appropriate place is the bedroom.
Whoa.
wrestling ring
Chris.
Or a UFC match.
Yep. Oh, John Fox popped in. Hey, John. Thanks for joining. Yeah. I think this is John. Is this John's first? I don't think it's John's first, but I think it's his first time commenting. I think. Funny enough, real quick plug. Next week, we are doing a ranking of Star Trek films. And our special guest is going to be John Fox, a Star Trek aficionado. John says they're comedians. Their job is to offend and make people laugh. Laughter is great for the soul.
Yes, it is.
Agreed. Laughter is great for the soul.
Good. He can make up for the fact that I haven't seen any Star Trek movies.
Chris will not be making next week. Sadly,
I think you would like some of the '80s ones, Chris.
I haven't seen any of them.
You have to at least watch 2.
I think you'd enjoy those.
You have to at least watch 2 before the show.
Not a Star Trek person.
I'm going to give you 2 recommendations. You have to watch them both.
Does such a great job. If like some of them feel very Matrixy, very like you're in a dream. They're really cool.
John Cataline says, if Demon Knights taught us anything, it's that Jada was corrupt even back then.
Wow.
I didn't get to watch that. What is that like?
Oh, it's a great horror film. It's Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knights. It's great.
It's probably the best Tales of the Crypt spin-off movie.
Was she a demon, her character?
You gotta watch and see.
No.
Right.
I'm going to say no, Janet. I'm going to tell you no right away. Because I don't want you to think they're picking on Jada again. She's actually...
That was her character.
It's in a good spot for her, so don't worry about that. It's in a good spot. Wrath of Khan is definitely not the best one, John. And I'll fight you over it.
Ooh.
What do you think is the best one, Dom?
It's easily Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't it be? Whoever thought that they would ever hear Spock going, a double dumbass to you, too. Nobody.
The
Nobody
Wrath
thought
of
that.
Khan was really fun, though. That felt more like a horror movie, right?
Are
In a
you
way.
are you going to disrespect Christopher Lloyd and Search for Spock number 3?
Oh my God, I love that one, John Fox. John Fox, I feel like we have our number one. We have our number one film. It's
Well,
gonna be consensus, by the way, John. So we all have to pitch in. So we have to talk about each and every one and break everyone down. So we'll probably start tonight or tomorrow, where there'll be a group chat like texting. This is how it works, guys. This is kind of an inside the minds of
baseball.
us. We group text each other, and we're like, hey. So here's the list of the Star Trek films that we're including. It's not going to be, by the way, we're not going to rank.
No J.J. Abrams.
No J.J. Abrams. None of that. The 1, 2, and 3 that came out, we're not ranking those. Some of them are great films. Don't get me wrong. Second one, first one, great. Third one, lots of fun. But that second one, But anyway, we're not going to rank those. We're going to rank the OGs, the OG Star Trek ones, or the OC ones. You know, when they go to Orange County and hang out. But you know what I mean. The OG ones, we're going to rank those. So that's what we're going to do with those. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be next Monday. It's going to be live. And hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties like we did tonight. And we'll start actually on time. And I do apologize about that, guys. We did have a little bit of a hiccup here earlier where some thing was going really loudly through all of our respective headphones for no reason whatsoever. So and I still haven't figured out why that is, but here we go. We got a couple more comments. Frank says, seeing those ear-burrowing critters crawl into Chekhov's ear in The Wrath of Khan really messed me up when I was a kid. Yeah, me too, dude. It also happened in an episode of The Outer Limits with the earwigs, I think is what they were, something like that, and they would burrow through into your ears. Those are simply...
That's creepy. It's
simply
creepy.
Scary. Dino says, ST for Star Trek 4 is dope. Thank you, Dino. Yes, agreed, buddy. Agreed. Let's see. Scott says also got to mention the amazing First Contact because that is also a personal favorite. Yeah, I love First Contact.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
It's a lot of fun. Whenever they get a little more down to earth, so to speak, when they ground them a little bit, I think you get some of the most fun. Some of the most
character
fun.
development. Character development.
Yes, when you can get that character development, that's when when Star Trek really shines. John says the line must be drawn here with the OG, this far, no further. And Frank says a scene in Star Trek 4 was filmed in the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Janet and I have been there many times. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because we lived up in Carmel. That's so fun. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so let's get rolling on this this whole thing here. We've got a few more controversies. That first one, man, that was a doozy. We got a few more that we need to roll with. So let's roll with a few more here. Janet, since you're our guest tonight, let's have you start. We'll go counterclockwise, and you can mention I believe you're mentioning a film, the year it came out, and the Oscar year it came out, and then you're mentioning who should have won instead, if I'm correct on this. Yes. Okay.
All right, sure. So, just start with whichever.
Yep, I'll pull up the pictures. You just let me know.
Okay, let me see. I have notes here too. Okay, well, I do kind of just remembered. I lost my notes. Okay, it's 1997 is the Oscar year, and I was choosing Fargo over. I'm trying to remember if Kevin knows.
The English Patient.
The English Patient. Okay, yes. Now, I kind of want to bring up the good points and whatever about The English Patient. Now, that had an awesome dramatic acting. Everyone was nominated for like Best Supporting Actor, Best Actor, all these things. Juliette Binoche got Best Supporting Actress. She was amazing. She was in love with The English Patient. They were in the middle of the war and traveling all over the place. And Rafe Fiennes?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
That
was like one of his breakout roles, I think. I know he did a lot on stage. He was a theater actor. He did a lot of amazing things. We know he's amazing. He did not win Best Actor or anything, but it got like Best Story. There was really great editing. I think he got an editing award. And I love the soundtrack, just cinematography, everything. But, I mean, Fargo has like this Quentin Tarantino-esque thing about it, and a lot of people know that I think that Pulp Fiction is overrated, but I do really honor Tarantino and his storytelling and his cinematography and editing, and that Fargo had so many amazing things. Plus it had William H. Macy he hires somebody to, was it kidnap or murder his wife? And he's got Steve Buscemi in this awesome black dark comedy, which nothing like that I don't think had really been done before since '96. Until up until '96. And of course, I mean, Frances McDormand being pregnant, being this cop with this awesome Minnesotan accent from the Coen brothers, who are from Minneapolis. It was just so well done. There were also some producers from England I found out on that. So there was an English, British, and American people putting it together. And I just thought it was so funny and so dark and so clever that it should have won. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
Well, so look, the reason The English Patient won is because it had the quintessential fact that it was boring.
Except for all of us ladies were like, the love story.
Yeah. I'm gonna say
it was slow. It was really slow. I think the music for me helped a little, and that I knew some of the actors, but
I think it's because they spoke proper English. In Fargo, maybe you didn't know, what they were saying all the time, when they had the accent and the golly gee, and
Yeah, that was back in the
being like based on a true story. Maybe is why people wanted The English Patient too. There's really a Hungarian guy
Janet,
in the story.
Let me ask you a quick question here. Have you seen the television series of Fargo, the FX?
Yes, version? I love that.
Isn't it
too.
fun?
Yeah, so much fun.
Now, did you see the television version of The English Patient?
No.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Huh. It's on BBC. It's on BBC. You haven't seen it?
Answer to your question, Janet. Who should have won the Oscars? Well, who has a series, who doesn't?
That's right. Yeah, They were trying to look like interesting, and we're going to choose something nobody would choose, maybe. I don't know what. I mean, Ralph Fiennes was handsome, and everybody had a lot of charisma, but I think Frances McDormand had a lot more going on for her, and Steve Buscemi. I mean, come on.
It's crazy now if you think about it, because the Coens, now when they make movie, they're like shoo-ins to win. So it was crazy that for that one of their first ones, it was like, no, they're not going to get it. And now it's like, oh, the Coens, of course, they're going to win Academy Award now.
That is like when a lot of things like bomb at the box office and then they become like cult classics,
Yeah, it is interesting. And I think Fargo is so memorable for creating such colorful characters. I think that's their strength, is within the characterization, within the not only just the dialogue between the characters, but the characters themselves are extremely rich and fleshed out. Whereas with The English Patient, it just seems kind of glossed over a bit in somewhat romanticizing war in a way, in a way that I didn't really appreciate. I don't like war films, period. I accept them for what they are, and some of them I appreciate, but it's hard. It's hard for me to watch a film, particularly a film that could be so terrifying, like Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, Apocalypse Now, things like this that are so very graphic, and then you see something like The English Patient, and it doesn't work for me on any level.
It's missing that they went through like a trauma in there. It's missing that.
Right.
It shows the physical trauma, but not the psychological trauma, the post-traumatic disorders.
Yeah, and it would be nice if they would have worked on that a little more, or showed us a little bit more of what that was, because back then they didn't technically really know what that was, so I guess they really didn't talk about it as much. But that doesn't mean we don't want to see it displayed. We don't want to see it in real time and like the film within its world. And Fargo's just fun on a bun. I mean, it's complicated, it's layered, it's rich with characterization, it's a great story. It led to an awesome, albeit many, many, many years later, television series. Janet, you couldn't be any more correct on this one. I think English Patient can suck a fuck, and we can just... In fact, I'm going to just expand the Fargo picture and just cover over The English Patient here with it. Actually, I'm just going to close out English Patient, period, and just leave the Fargo picture, because we all know this is the film that
superior film.
Yes.
It was to show all of you actors and directors, don't feel bad if you don't win these awards, because we all disagree with that.
Yeah, exactly. Right, you're not wrong, and oh man, being a fan of B movies and stuff, and I'm in so many B movie groups, it's amazing the love for certain B level, C level, D level actors and directors and things that actually are out there. If you create a film, odds are somebody's going to be out there that loves it, enjoys it, and watches it and shares it, and that's the beauty of filmmaking. I feel is the communal effect that it creates. We got
except for The Room, nobody liked that.
Paul Rudd would disagree, and me sitting in the same, actually one row in front of Paul Rudd, would disagree also, because that movie is amazing, Chris. And in my closet over here is a jacket of The Room that I'll bring out if you do this again. I'll go get it right now. Let's see. Frank says Fargo is 10 times better than The English Patient, which bores me to sleep. It's a good film to nap to. Gerald says it's crazy how powerful the Weinsteins were in the 90s. Ultraman Magnus, thanks for joining, buddy. Man, after Titanic was so boring, I won the Oscars. I don't watch movies that win Oscars till this day. Yeah, I hear you, man.
Anything that wins an Oscar, it's like no.
No, Fargo was not a 2000s movie with Ben Affleck. That was a whole different film. Hey, Josh, thanks for joining. He says, hey, Don, isn't E.T. your favorite film? No, it's one of my least favorites, Josh. Thanks. You jerk.
And Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah,
I hate that one, too. I hate those Oompa Loompas, them sons of bitches. I hate them.
That sounds so racist.
It's a weird thing. No, I just don't like them. I don't like them. They sing, and they're orange-faced, and they're weird.
You were afraid of them.
They got weird little alfalfa hair bullshits going on.
Scared you.
I don't like them. I don't like their asshole faces. I don't like them. Chris, what do you have going on over there? What's your film?
All right, so I really think that Moonlight should have beat La La Land.
What?
Isn't that the movie that lost to La La Land?
Moonlight
You
lost
chose
to
that?
La La Land.
No, I didn't. I'm making a joke because they did win.
Yeah, because they messed it up in the speech.
Man, I'm looking it up. That's a terrible joke. Get out of here.
We'll go to the year 2000 and we'll talk about Fight Club.
I think you and I are about to join that.
About Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club.
Okay, Fight Club should have won, I imagine, right?
Fight Club should have won, yes. It was a beautiful movie, but I think that Fight Club was better than American Beauty.
And also Magnolia, which also came out the same year.
Yes.
That was a toss-up for me because I love the Green Mile from that year.
Kevin, real quickly, and Chris can back me up on this. Have you seen a film actually literally talk about splicing into film, and then the film itself that you're watching splice bits of porn into the film? Have you ever seen a film that this is the most meta entertaining film? Fight Club is brilliant on so many levels, and that's all I'm going to say. I'll let Chris take it away because I know Chris agrees with me on this.
I do. It's a brilliant movie. If you look at it, it's just from a filmmaking perspective, from an acting perspective. It's one of the few movies I actually like Edward Norton in. And it was just like it's the real big movie from like the turn of the century that really still jars in my brain. It's such a big thing. Everybody talks about Fight Club, even though they're not supposed to. Yeah, everyone. It is just like it's such a mind blowing, just conclusion to the film, and it's just like it was definitely something of pulp culture. It changed pulp culture, and I definitely feel like out of any other movie that it had the most impact out of any other movie that year. That's why I feel like there was a lot of great movies that year. Yeah, that's a lot part of when this movie stopped being good. But I feel like because of that, that's why I feel like that one should have, gone over. Like I said, American Beauty is not a bad movie. It's a beautifully shot movie, but I think Fight Club should have won over it.
And for you, Chris, then it would have beat A Sixth Sense and The Green Mile, right? That's hard for me. That's why I didn't choose that year. It was too hard for me to decide.
Yeah. That is a tough
But
year.
it would have, right? It would have beat The Sixth Sense for you. And were you a fan?
Well, I didn't
of
like The
Green
Sixth
Mile?
Sense.
No.
I didn't like the Sixth Sense, so that one was not a consideration for me. I mean, I didn't hate the movie, but it wasn't like, oh, this is the best movie ever. Green Mile, kind of similar, I guess. I mean, it's an okay movie to me. But I never thought it would be like, oh, this is such an impactful movie of the time.
Yeah.
Got a man talking to a mouse. Yeah. I could go watch Cinderella and get that.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because Dino mentioned, he said it's crazy because nobody cared about the Fight Club book. Well, Chuck Palahniuk, a lot of people were fans of his work. It's just it elevated when Fight Club hit the screens, much like
more mainstream.
Michael Crichton created Jurassic Park, and then the film hit, and suddenly Michael Crichton's like a god. You know, it's just the way it is. Unfortunately, it didn't work out so well for Clive Cussler with Sahara. That film did not. That film tanked hard and basically shied him away from ever releasing and allowing his material to be put into film, which is a damn shame because he's a hell of a writer and one of my mother's favorites. Chuck Palahniuk created, Fight Club, and it did spawn comic books even. Tell me, Chris, have you found at the comic book shop any American Beauty comic books anywhere?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
Again,
because they
porn
don't exist.
Store. Found plenty of stuff in the porn store, but not the comic book store.
Oh, okay, yeah, different type of American Beauty, buddy.
Yeah.
Maria says Fight Club was the
American
movie.
Booty.
Maria says Fight Club was the movie that made me want to go to film school.
Oh, that's awesome.
Crazy,
that's so
right?
cool.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yep. And who would have wondered that this cute little guy right here, Wes Bentley, would almost completely ruin his career with addiction. As sad as it is. He did bounce back, so I'll give him credit where credit is due, and he's doing a hell of a great job doing it. He's actually been in a lot of the American Horror Story series as well.
He was also very close to becoming Spider-Man over Tobey Maguire.
Yep, very close. Yeah. I think they chose correctly, Kevin.
Yeah.
I feel like Tobey was the wise decision.
I love Toby. My favorite one.
Love Toby. Yeah, Toby's great.
Those Gen Z kids who like Garfield can suck it.
Yep. Kevin, what's your choice?
All right. I think I'm going to start some real controversy because I know we have a bunch of nice picks that are going to piss people off, but here we go. We're going to go to the year 1976 and the 1977 Oscar ceremonies. Great movies that came out that year. Rocky won Best Picture. However, in my opinion, as much as I love Rocky, I believe Network should have won Best Picture for that year.
That's so interesting, yeah. What's the reason?
Kevin, why is the reason you feel Network should have won over Rocky? You said it so eloquently to me that you actually sold me on the idea, so sell it to them.
I feel this is a very important historical film. This movie, Network, pretty much predicted the future when it comes to corporate consolidation, in some ways kind of social media before there was social media, basically about how people's opinions can be shaped, and also just the outrage that people feel in a very difficult and adverse society. I mean, one of the most famous lines for this movie is, "I'm mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore." That's a very, you think about when it came out in the 70s, tough recession, high gas prices for that time period, a lot of stress going on in people's lives. So it's very similar to what's going on in this day and age. And this movie is very powerful. I mean, it's just so ahead of its time. The screenplay, the script is just absolutely perfect, in my opinion. I mean, it's one of the greatest satirical comedies ever made. And as we know, someone said in the comment section about comedy is very important. It's very healing. This satirical comedy is powerful. To me, it's one of the best movies ever made, in my humble opinion. It's my personal top 10. So if you haven't seen Network, check it out. I think you might agree. But again, Rocky, great movie. I'm not dissing it. It's just I feel this movie is just one step ahead. Or one step above, I should say.
Kevin, I will take this and I will add to it, sir. And you know where I'm going to go with this. You chose Network over Rocky.
Yes.
And I chose another film over Rocky, and I don't think we have it in here, do we?
If it is, it's probably in another file.
Yeah, I don't think we do. But the choice I chose over Rocky was actually Taxi Driver.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant.
Which came
Robert
out the
De Niro.
exact same year. Now,
That
I
really
also
put him on the map.
I also
Robert De Niro.
love Rocky, and I feel Rocky. Give credit where credit is due. Rocky's an amazing film, but after revisiting Taxi Driver for the second or third time, I realized not only is it from a cinematographer standpoint a masterpiece, but from an actual filmmaking standpoint, it's unparalleled. Like, never have I argued in my head so many times of the ending to a film. Was it made up in his head? Did this really happen? Was he kind of, lauded as a hero, or did he go crazy? And that's like, in everything that you're hearing at the end is basically from his imagination, from his inner perspective. And it just makes me wonder to this day the same thing. Rocky's very cut and dry. It's a hero's journey. I get that. It's a great film. But it doesn't make me question much more than that. Whereas Taxi Driver, cerebrally speaking, makes me question so many things. Integrity of an individual. What makes a hero? What defines a hero? What defines a villain? How do you explain this this character, this man that exists, in how do you show him to be somebody that walks this line that you're like, do I hate him or do I love him, or what do I do here? It's so cleverly done. Marty's masterpiece is what I would like to say. I feel on a personal level, I think he should have won for this one.
Scorsese.
Yes, sadly he did not. But did
he
lose to a worthy opponent? Sure, he lost to a worthy opponent. But still, I'm with you to a point. Like, I feel like Rocky, this came at a year where people were just wanting somebody to believe in.
Yes,
and that just
a feel good sentimental movie. I totally get why it won.
So let's see what we have here. Ultraman Magnus says Rocky won the Oscars. Wow, good movie. Did win Oscars back in the day. Rocky and Rambo 2 are in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And Frank says, in Taxi Driver, how did the guy's date not know that she had entered a porn theater until the movie began? Well, Frank, in that time, in that era, the porn theaters were actually a little more eloquently dressed to where they could fool you into walking into them. They weren't the slum and dump kind of places that you would see in the 80s. We're talking a little bit earlier in the era here of time, and there was actually a little more elegance to the wank theater when you would go in there, and
you don't say.
Yes. So I feel like Mallrats describes this best, talking about the airplane flight when he thought he was going to crash, and everybody pulled out their respective pieces and just started to let things fly. Same way with this, I think. It's just it just happened. So that's my argument with that. Okay, so that's it there.
Your turn.
We'll pull up some more comments as we go. Okay, I'm going to be very brief with mine just for time's sake. And basically because I've already kind of talked about it. Let's see if I can pull it up here. I don't see it. Actually, I don't see the picture of it. Yeah, I don't think Kevin, I don't think he gave me the picture of this.
Which one was it? And I mentioned to you before we started, this year's 6 movies.
Saving?
Yeah, it's there. Saving Private Ryan, it's there. Yeah, look carefully, it's there. Did you see Matt Damon's picture?
No, I don't.
And Fatigues? You must not have transferred it over then.
It's possible. So give me 1 second here. In the meantime, Kevin will regale you with stories about how he fell down in a movie theater once.
I fell down in a movie theater.
I don't know. Just go with it. No? Complete silence?
Taking over your usher greeting.
Just make up a
Taking over
story.
your usher greeting.
What happened, Kevin?
I
That
saw
was
the
a-
movie theater.
You did?
Oh,
I did, yeah. And it had the popcorn flying in the air thing and everything.
No
So
shit.
just like you would
Oh my
see
God.
in a movie, you went
What
through
were
it.
you about to see, Chris?
Super Pets.
League of Super
League of
Pets?
Super Pets.
Super Pets?
Oh.
So you're saying the League of Super Pets made you fall down in the theater? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, no, it was a dark theater, and
So you're saying one of the
And-
pets in League of Super Pets pushed you? That's the
no,
controversy?
because the movie hadn't started yet.
Oh.
No, it was the ghost in the theater that pushed me.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay. And were you injured?
I was.
Yeah. What happened?
Did you sue?
Yeah, did you
I did
sue?
not.
Oh.
No, but it was. I sprained my hip.
Ouch. It sucks. Ow.
That does suck. All right.
Did you still watch the movie?
Oh yeah, I sat there soaked in soda and drenched
Oh my
in
God.
popcorn,
Aw.
butter, and
Oh, you poor guy.
I said they gave me more popcorn than soda though.
Well,
That's
that's
nice.
great.
That's good, at least.
I limped down and get more, and then limped back up to my seat.
Oh no.
Okay, so really quickly to glaze over, because we've kind of already talked about this. I chose Saving Private Ryan over Shakespeare in Love. Shakespeare in Love is... it's basically the English Patient of its time. It doesn't deserve the hate it gets. It's a very whimsical, fanciful version of Shakespeare's story, mixed in with a little love and a little fun. I watched it. I
You
very
shut
much
your mouth.
enjoyed it.
Shut your mouth. That's the worst movie ever made. I
Okay.
can't stand that movie.
Shakespeare fan.
I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun frolic through the park. I enjoyed it, right? But then you have all this war going on in Saving Private Ryan, which is basically this was the magnum opus. Thank you. Magnum opus of the man, the one, the only.
Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, Steven Spielberg.
That or Schindler's List. I mean, those two are.
Also,
kinda the same.
I mean, I'm not going to argue that. You can never argue Schindler's List. When somebody brings Schindler's List into a conversation, you have to go, yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah, you're not wrong. Because that's not one you can argue, Janet. And you know it. You know it. And you threw that. You know that. You
They're
can't
both
argue that.
amazing.
But Saving Private Ryan is a fantastic film. Just the beach storming, I believe on Normandy alone, would have given them
Omaha Beach, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
should have given them the accolades and all the Oscars. They should have just been like, you get this many Oscars, but it didn't happen. They gave Best Picture to this film.
So messed up.
Yeah, very messed up. I don't think anybody's going to argue with me on this one. If you want to in the chat, please feel free. I'm gonna
Red Line was a good one too.
Yeah.
let me pull up some
It
comments.
made you wonder who were those people on the board of the Academy of Directors.
Mhm.
What is their emotional intelligence? Do they appreciate history?
Well, they
Do
normally
they
do.
know that
They normally do.
all this stuff may not have happened in Shakespeare's life?
Here's
it
the
might not
thing.
be accurate history.
Jenna, here's the thing. When it comes to the Oscars, you always have to realize that period pieces reign supreme. It's unfortunate,
Yep.
but it is the way it is. If it's back in the Elizabethan times, it's going to win a shit ton of awards, no matter how good
It's
it
funny
was.
though, just
Also-
even when
also-
it's not accurate.
Yeah.
Also, because it's about making art, which they get a super hard on about. Anything about making a film or making theater or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
they get like super into it, and it's like, this has to be the one.
Right.
And Judi Dench is in it for like 10 minutes as Queen Elizabeth I.
Yep.
So there you go.
That's
Um,
just crazy though, because I like that stuff about making art and romance and movies, but I would never have rooted for that for an Oscar.
No.
Well, you're not a 90-year-old man.
That's true.
Also true. Really quickly, Dino says in Norway you could watch Indiana Jones and Debbie Does Dallas doubleheader in the same theater. Didn't matter how old you were. Interesting.
Wow. That's interesting.
Maria says Life is Beautiful came out that year too.
Yes, that's another one.
true.
That's a good one.
And he did win for Best Foreign Film, if I recall. Life is Beautiful.
Yes, he did.
Dino says Saving Private Ryan is epic. Maria says the Weinstein strike again. She's not wrong. And Ward says Saving Private Ryan is a dope movie, bro. Yeah, it's great. And he says Richard Jewell should have won an Oscar. John Fox says it's because old people are voting and deciding. Yeah. Yes, you are right, sir. Yes, sir.
Because what is the deal, though? Wouldn't old people, though, like the thing about World War II? Are they traumatized? What?
They might be more traumatized because they actually served.
Actually lived through it.
I
think
was in
that they
it.
would
It's
appreciate
terrible.
Because you saw interviews on some of the veterans who said it was exactly like that, and this is amazing at what they did with it. What Spielberg did.
All right, Janet, hit me with your second one.
All right, now I did find it here in my notes. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, let's go with The Help instead of The Artist.
Okay, got it.
Goes back to Chris's point about artistic films.
Yeah, well, they chose The Artist. That's right. It's very artistic. Now, that's 2012 when the Oscars year for that, and these came out in 2011. So they both have, a lot about interpersonal relationships. They both have awesome actors with a lot of charisma.
What was the other film, Janet?
The Artist and The Help.
Okay, The Artist. Okay, thank you.
So what's awesome about The Artist is I looked that up, and it was shown on 4:3 frame on your screen. It could have been more grainy because I heard one reviewer say you could fool someone into thinking that this was made like in 1918 or 1920 or something. We hadn't seen other films like this except for maybe like Chaplin, but even that had actual dialogue, and it was the biography of Chaplin. It wasn't like Chaplin is in this. So it's recreating a movie that could have been like 1919 maybe when talkies started to show up. So the main character dude is upset that talkies are happening. The woman is happy that talkies are happening because she's successful. Story of two actors falling in love and this cute little dog. Maybe the dog is what helped it win. But also this composer who did all the music for it, I mean, he's really getting to showcase his stuff because it's all music. And then they're just showing dialogue on the little cards. So it was brilliant. The black and white looked beautiful and everything. But I would argue that The Help, yes, we do have stories of women in Mississippi and women bonding together and everything and, racism and everything like this. But I like that we're actually interested in what Emma Stone's thinking about all of this and, how she's not happy with how these black women are being treated. And it is also really funny, like when there's this pie, Minnie's pie, that the white character eats, Bryce Dallas Howard's character eats it, and she's really eating poop. So I really love that. And then she gets a big mark on her face,
that film,
a big breakout. So they get back at her. And that was just really cool to see some justice being done for these overworked. That's right. Yeah, for these overworked women. It is kind of weird that there are 3 redheaded actresses in it. Emma Stone, Jessica Chastain, and Bryce Dallas Howard.
It's too many gingers.
They were showing how white these white people are. Like me, I'm super white in my skin tone. But yeah, no, brilliant acting. I just loved what they did with it, and I like that it showed off Octavia Spencer and Viola Davis a lot more, and it's based on a book, and I read the book and I loved it too. So I don't know. I just would have chosen that. They're both awesome movies. What do you guys think?
Professor Turner.
Yeah, Chris, take this one.
I actually really loved The Artist. I thought it was an amazing film. I was not a big fan of The Help. I kind of got bored watching it. And so I personally think that they made the right decision. I probably, The Artist is probably the first Academy Award winner movie I had watched more than 3 times since Braveheart. So I have to disagree with you on this one. But because of all the reasons you said, it was such a brilliant way they made the film and how they made it old, and the cast is phenomenal in it, and it's hilarious, and I really love it, and it's definitely in my wheelhouse. If I was in the Academy, I'd fit right in because that was right up my alley. So
for that year, right? Anyway.
Yeah, for that year, yeah.
That's cool.
Chris,
Yeah,
I'm gonna back your play on this. I love The Artist. I think it's a fantastic film. I think it was a weak year for Oscars. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't feel that either of these should have won technically, but if I had to give it to one, I would have given it to The Artist. The Help just felt like it was placating to an audience that wanted an Oscar, and that didn't feel right to me. And it also was very boring, very boring. Yeah, whereas The Artist felt like it felt like me. And I think, Janet, maybe it's because you're younger, you're such a young kid. When you get my age, or Kevin's age, who's even older, by the way, or Chris, who's old as shit too, when you get their ages, you start to learn and appreciate of an actor or of an individual struggling against a dying thing that they so love and desire to be a part of, but that's like dwindling away. And if you think about it that way, there you go. And if you think about it that way, you have to look at these 90-some-year-old guys again that are doing the voting, which is, around Chris or Kevin's age, and they're like,
proud of it.
I feel like this, man. Like, things are being taken away from me. Like, I'm losing a part of myself with this new technology. What is this, Facebook? That kind of stuff. So I totally get it. They completely appeased to the minds of those people. But it was also really well done, and it was really fun and enjoyable and heartfelt. And yeah, the dog was adorable. Everything was adorable about it. It just hit the right notes at the right time. But did I hate The Help? No, I didn't hate it. Was I a little bored by it? Slightly. And I feel like that's a lot of response when it comes to Oscar films. It's just whether it hits for you or not. So you're not wrong. You're not right. It's just the way it is with these types of films, unfortunately. Just like with Rocky. I mean, it hit at the right time with the right story and resonated with the audience. And that's why it landed into the Oscar realm, whereas some of the others did not.
And the 90-year-olds were only 50 at the time, so.
It's true. Chris, go ahead with your next one. We're going to have to move a little bit faster.
All right, we'll talk about a year later than my last one, 2001 Oscars. We'll talk about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon should have beat Gladiator.
You know what? I agree with you, Chris, because to me, Gladiator, in some respects, took a lot of plot points and themes from Braveheart.
Yeah, Gladiator, it's a decent movie. Not a huge Russell Crowe fan, but it's a decent movie, and it is what it is. But the cinematography in Crouching Tiger was new and it was different, and
did it win for cinematography, Chris?
Probably. But I just like overall, I think it's just a better film. I think it's a better made film, and I think it's a more entertaining film. And I think, again, if you go back and look at it, the more iconic film. Both have sequels, but I mean, one had better acting in my opinion, even if it wasn't English acting. You can't really tell a lot of times, but I think so. And I think it's just, like I said, if you look at which one made more of an impact to the history, history and culture, yes, and to Hollywood, Crouching Tiger was definitely that. It kind of like started a renaissance in like martial arts films. And so for that reason, I feel like it deserved the Oscar more than Gladiator.
Yeah. And the choreographer, Yu Wu Ping, worked on the Matrix films.
Yeah, you could tell when they're floating up in the air.
Okay, so Chris, the reason why I disagree with you, and this is very petty and stupid, I've never seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Never seen it.
You can't spend comments.
Oh, I can comment plenty, trust me.
An uneducated comment.
It's very educated, Jana, how dare you. Now, with the Gladiator film, I don't know about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, never having seen it, but do you remember the Conan the Barbarian television series that they did? They did on it was like UPN or something like that. It was syndicated, and it was that big dude. Ralph was his name. His name was Ralph, and had a real thick accent. And he was almost as big, if not bigger, than actual Schwarzenegger himself. He's just a huge lurking dude that played Conan. He was in Gladiator, and I was so happy to see that sumbitch in there, that they put him in a movie, that he was actually able to get some type of work besides that series. that I thought, man, this film better win the Oscar. Now, if he's in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, then I'll recant my story and my beliefs in this entire thing. But I can almost guarantee you with 100% certainty, he is not in that film, and therefore I don't care about it. That's fair, Janet. Come on.
It's actually hard. I've seen them both, though, but it's a toss-up. I really liked both films. They're in different genres. They're in different places and time, but they both have all these, like, warriors and such good acting.
Frank knew. Janet, your brother knew his name. Ralph Moeller, the German bodybuilder. God damn it. Thank you, Frank. I knew it. I knew somebody would know this. Yes. My man.
Wonder what Scorch would pick, Crouching Tiger or the Gladiator?
Give us the comments. Gladiator. He loves Frank. He loves Ralph.
He likes martial arts.
Oh, true.
Okay,
Frank, let's see what you say. Okay, Kevin, moving on. What do you like?
All right. Your lady, Maria, I'm sure is going to support me on this 100%. The 2002 movies and the 2003 Oscar ceremonies, the Best Picture should have went to The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, over Chicago. The Two Towers is a masterpiece.
Yeah, it really
is. I was rewatching it, the extended edition, and I just really love. You know what my favorite characters?
The Battle of Helm's Deep.
That's awesome. But before that, we're actually concurrently going on. I love Treebeard. I love the Treebeard character and the Ents, especially
when the orcs first show up in that one.
Especially when they're going after Saruman,
Kevin,
because they're pissed off and they see their brothers.
Can I ask you a really quick question, though?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you were watching the film, do you really think that, the hobbits, the orcs, the wizards, the rangers, all of them, do you think when they showed up, they really showed up with all that jazz?
Oh, God.
Of course not. Now look, Chicago
from a different musical,
great a fine musical cabaret play, especially Broadway, wonderful play. But I'm sorry, when it comes to
it Cellophane Man? Should I make a Cellophane Man joke? Oh, I probably should have.
Twin Towers is the only one I didn't love. Those talking trees. Oh God, don't even get me started.
I love the talking trees. I love them. Oh my gosh.
Those talking trees made me throw the book across the room because I hated them so much.
No. Okay. All right. What about Gollum? He's a very sympathetic character. You see, he's suffering from the power of when he once possessed the ring. You see the talking to himself, the possessions. My precious. And then you're seeing the conflict going on within Elijah Wood's character of Frodo Baggins. Just the ring is just sucking the life out of him. It's just the temptation to go fully dark. I mean, it's powerful acting, powerful cinematography.
Have anything
beautiful fighting
to say about Chicago, though, Kevin, on the other side of that?
Well, I did. I mean, it's a nice, wonderful musical. Wonderful musical.
Singing and acting, proving Renee Zellweger can sing.
When you're 80 years old, you're going to appreciate Chicago more than you're going to appreciate a bunch of orcs fighting hobbits.
I don't know.
I hope about that. Knowing Kevin.
I hope you're right. We'll see. I hope
that's why the Academy picked Chicago.
That was a parallel for war. I mean, an absolute 100% parallel for the ramifications of war. And you're going to go with Chicago, which
no, I'm not going with Chicago. I'm just saying
why the Academy, as an Academy voter,
I actually agree.
Actually,
I agree with Kevin that they should have beat Chicago.
Me too.
But I know the reason why Chicago won.
All right. So
again, art and old people.
You know another good one that came out that year too?
What's that?
28 Days Later.
Oh yeah. That was really good.
Okay, so Kevin, I'm gonna really quickly do mine here.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm going to first list the film that makes me sick to my stomach. I don't even like fucking talking about this film. I hate it so much. I can't stand this piece of shit movie, and I don't understand the people that do. We're talking about Forrest Gump. What a crap fest film that deserved to just be thrown in the goddamn trash. It never should have made it. In fact, it almost didn't. Multiple times they didn't want this film to exist. It was like nature trying to push it out of the goddamn nest before it popped out of the egg. Like they just wanted it to crack and be done with it. And it still found its way to just poke its stupid ass way up through like a turd through an asshole coming out and being creative.
What are specifics? It's too much going on and it's too unrealistic? Is that what it is?
It's a trash film with no goddamn story behind it. It's about a mentally slow person that does fantastical things. Whoop-de-doo. I'm sorry, but there's literally no story there. He's just bouncing. Yes, I would fight him over this. I would fight Tom Hanks in the street over this. I don't give a shit. This film is hot garbage, and I hate every ounce of it. If you rang it out into a glass, I would take that glass and throw it into Tom Hanks's face and tell him to suck it, because this film is that
there are
bad.
Little children. There are little children that love Forrest. They yell, "Run, Forrest, run!" They love Forrest.
No, they don't. No, Kevin.
Well, I was like 12, and I really liked it.
You know what? You know what is great? You know what is a great film? What is a fantastic film? A film that deserved to win the Oscars that year? Motherfucking Shawshank Redemption. Are you shitting me? This film was fantastic. This film was everything that anybody ever could want in an Academy Award nominated film. And they gave it to this bullshit dude that I like to run. I ran far. I ran real far. I ran across the United States. I like shrimp too. No one cares. The fact that there's a goddamn Bubba Gump shrimp place on City Walk in Los Angeles, California right now blows my goddamn mind. Like, I don't understand how this is happening, and I don't like it. I've suffered enough. The people have suffered enough. Please tell me that this was a mistake and that this never should have happened. Because if I can wake up from this Matrix goddamn reality where everything is bullshit and Forrest Gump won an Academy Award, I would be so happy. I don't get it. There's no way that Forrest Gump deserves to win over Shawshank Redemption. And if you don't believe me, you could fight me.
Well, now you have some comments in there too, Don.
I think there's people knocking on your door, sir. I think they're knocking outside your apartment.
All right, what do we got? Scorch says, Frank says, the moral of Forrest Gump is that a mentally challenged man isn't worthy of a slut unless he earns a lot of money. God, Frank. Mel Rass says, wow. Maria says it beat Shawshank and Pulp Fiction. Yes, thank you, Maria. That's my next point. Was that Pulp Fiction also lost to this piece of shit film. Pulp freaking Fiction. What Tarantino's magnum opus lost to a guy that like played ping pong. What? No. This film is trash. Forrest Gump is trash, and anybody that believes it's not, comparatively to these other two films, we need to talk.
Doesn't compare to the other films.
No,
but
it doesn't.
I like the imagination, and I thought it was fun. I don't like people quoting it constantly in the 90s and beyond, but I didn't hate it, I guess. I can respect
but
hate it.
But Donald, there's such great films in that same year, like It's Pat and Little Giants.
Clear and Present Danger.
Both just as good as Forrest Gump, by the way. Let me just say.
Lion King. Oh, wait. Was the Lion King nominated for Best Picture?
I think you're right.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Another choice.
Thank you, Gray. I know Gray said, wow, I didn't like it, but wow, Donald. But he agrees Shawshank is much better. Big Papa Chris says, according to your previous theories, are there Shawshank restaurants? Okay,
that's what I was thinking.
Let me explain this. There actually is not a restaurant, Big Papa Chris, but there is at the Mansfield Reformatory where you go, which is the #1 most haunted location in Ohio, which I've actually been to and done paranormal investigative research at. Yes, I'm that big of a nerd. There is lots of Shawshank Redemption references there because part of that movie was filmed there. Now, while they're not serving you bullshit fish and overcooked fries, you are getting an education in the penal system as well as in the paranormal world. So perhaps
you said penal.
We should. Yes, I did. We should pivot to that and forget about eating a overstuffed baked potato filled with lard. That's just my thoughts. Fuck Forrest Gump. Mic drop.
Wow.
I agree.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Sorry, Janet, what's your last
Kevin and I are
one?
not that harsh with it. I like what Janisek once said, though. Hey, Don, opinions are like you know what.
You know what, Josh? Fight me. Come on. You know where I live.
Kevin and I were not
Come
that.
fight me.
We
Come
didn't have
fight
as
me.
many issues
I'll
with
meet
that,
you
I guess.
halfway. Fight me. You know what? Next time you're up near the shop, come see me. Fight me. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. Fight me.
Go ahead, Sister Janet. Break it down.
I'm going to do the next one. Okay, so my next one, my last one I'll talk about is that instead of Crash, the crazy movie that had a bunch of brilliant actors, though I thought Sandra Bullock was awesome, versus Brokeback Mountain from the Oscar year of 2006. So,
See what you're depicted to my face?
what happened?
Your pick
Hey,
did
like...
this to my face.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Wasn't to you. The picture did that to your face. Oh.
No, the picture. Your pick for what should have beat Crash.
Pick. Okay, what I chose.
Yeah.
Did that to you? Oh God.
Yeah.
Would you have chosen
God.
Crash?
You're giving me a stroke.
He didn't know how to quit you, Janet.
I don't know how to quit you. That's right. So, okay, now, Crash has all these amazing actors, but the problem is you can have a movie like A Tale of Two Cities or whatever, where you have 50 plot lines happening at the same time. But I would have preferred them to just choose maybe like 4 characters to be the main characters, go with those plot lines. Kind of interesting. It was getting into racism and things like that. It was very weird that Matt Dillon had raped the girl that he saved later in the car crash. How people ended up being connected was kind of interesting, or running into each other, which doesn't really usually happen in real life. Sandra Bullock falling down the stairs was too comical. I felt like it wasn't, serious enough. A lot of it, there was like a comedy thing underlying it where they didn't mean it to be funny. And so maybe if they had meant for Crash to be funny, it actually would have been better. But it was just way too much crap going on and not enough
Crash the comedy.
relationships being fulfilled, and it wasn't wrapped up very well. So I didn't like beginning, middle, end. Just kind of how you said with Forrest Gump, I just didn't feel like it was enough plot. So I just wasn't satisfied. And then with Brokeback Mountain, it's kind of like a year, or 20 years in the life of these people. It's not exactly beginning, middle, ending kind of a thing, but it's about these guys' lives, which definitely could have happened. Maybe this is based on a true story. I do like the way Ang Lee directs. I like the cinematography in Brokeback Mountain. I like these guys who are like sheep herders, showing the way that they live and showing how they have to hide being homosexual. And I'm always it's always a thing where I kind of always like to see actual gay people playing gay people, but this was probably a challenge for these 2 actors to play homosexuals. And they did a really great job of me feeling like they were in love. And I just thought it was really beautiful and sad. And it really got me. I was crying. And so, yeah, Brokeback Mountain, I just thought it was really beautiful. I would have chosen that.
Another movie
that
could
have chosen something different that year. I was curious.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Another one I thought would have been another great choice. Good Night and Good Luck. I like that.
Oh, that was really good.
That was a good choice.
I personally think that Sideways should have won.
Oh, that's right.
Chris,
Paul Giamatti.
my man, coming in with the killer. I agree 100%. I was heartbroken. Sideways did not get even close to
definitely
being in there.
Funnier. It had a lot of comedy.
What a fantastic kind of just a quirky film.
Actually, Sideways was the year before. I'm sorry, that came out the year before.
No, didn't it? It came out the same year.
No, it came out in 2004. These movies came out in 2005.
This one was and then this one was the Oscars of 2006. I don't know.
Right.
Well, Crash came out in 2004 too.
No, came out in 2005.
Right, and you were right though, Chris, on that. And for some odd reason, they pushed it to the Oscars of 2006.
Kevin, are you okay?
I know. I'm serious. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right on Google.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. Kevin, what's your next choice?
My final choice, this is going to be a little controversial as well, especially for Chris. I would have chosen 7, going to the year 1995 or the 1996 Oscars, the film Seven over Braveheart for Best Picture. To me, Seven is an intricately written film, a mysterious killer, the seven deadly sins.
Seven.
Great performance. Yes, seven. Seven
and
deadly
that should
sins.
have won over what?
Braveheart. I know it sounds strange.
Oh,
Can we kick him out of the podcast
Hold on
now?
a second.
We might
Hold on a second.
have to.
I actually have some proof to back this up. If you
Was
go
Mel
to
Gibson in Seven?
no.
Oh, okay.
But Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and
Oh, well. Yeah.
Was there a prima nocta in Seven?
well, in some sects you could say John Doe was kind of putting it down in a different way. Now here's what Chris was cool about this. Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and the audience members actually rate Seven higher than they do Braveheart. When you look at the overall approval ratings, Seven is actually a higher acclaimed film than Braveheart, believe it or not. I actually checked on this. So I'm not that crazy.
Man, 95 was a juggernaut of year for movies. I mean, we had such hits as Showgirls,
12
Oh,
Monkeys.
God.
The
Casino,
usual suspects. The usual suspects.
Heat.
Usual suspects.
Casino and Heat were good. Were you teasing about Showgirls?
Yes, I was.
He was.
Yes.
But those other
And
two films are
the
good.
Lawrence Fishburne Othello came out that year.
Oh, that was
Yes.
really awesome. That was.
So it was juggernaut of year for movies.
That was hard. That would be hard for me to pick. But I mean, the Braveheart became a cult classic. The only thing, all of
What's
my
in the
friends,
box? What's in the
like
box?
my friend Robert, who likes Hollywood is never usually historically correct. In that time period, they would not have had half of their face painted blue, and those costumes were totally incorrect as well.
But it's Braveheart.
But it was so brilliantly done, and it was about someone's real life. So, I mean,
Okay, let's see what we got here. We have some comments. Hey. Gregarious says Crash is complete garbage. The Incredibles should have won. That you're not wrong, Gregarious. Mel says Crash was good. Gerald Browser. Mel, thanks for joining, by the way. Gerald says the other Crash is better, a lot weirder but better. Frank says Patricia Clarkson looked old enough to be Robert Downey Jr.'s mother in Good Night and Good Luck. That's fine. What?
it's me.
It's fine. My mom says the thing about this world is that there are movies out there for everyone. We like what we like! ! She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Maria says Chris, sigh, lol. She's laughing. Frank says I can actually relate to Seven. While Braveheart contains numerous historical inaccuracies, it's Robert LaBruce. It's Robert LaBruce. We 100% already know that. You go to Scotland, you take any tour there, they will correct you immediately and tell you it's Robert LaBruce. Everything that this man did in Braveheart is Robert LaBruce. And Chris, you know this. We went on the same damn tours.
Yeah, but doesn't make it any less awesome.
Kevin got
an
so
awesome
mad.
film.
Kevin got so mad, he literally just left. He just left. He bailed on us. He said, I'm done with this horse shit. I want
He's
7.
gonna comment.
Yeah, he was,
I got knocked out. I don't know what happened. I got knocked out.
yeah, sure. You tried to quit, and then we called you on it.
You got voted out by the Academy.
Melrez loves Braveheart. And Dino says, I like women, so Showgirls is dope. I don't think it was nominated, Dino. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. All right, so my last choice of the evening, which will coincidentally end us out for the evening. I feel like, okay, so Slumdog Millionaire. Oh boy. What a feel-good movie that didn't deserve shit. I'm sorry. It was a feel-good movie. It didn't deserve any type of accolades. And it won over The Dark Knight, which should have been in that nominational pool, which should have won for Best Film that year. And anybody that thinks otherwise, that's cool. You're allowed to think that. You're allowed to be wrong. But you're allowed to think that. The Dark Knight. I can't think of anything that's wrong with this film. It's so good. And Slumdog Millionaire is banking their entire film off a Regis Philbin-led television show. And that's cool. Philbin, whatever.
Philbin.
Is that your final answer, Donald?
That's my. You know what? Let me phone a friend real quick. Chris, are you available? Chris,
Yeah, what's up?
Should The Dark Knight have won over Slumdog Millionaire?
I'll say this: it's the only Batman film I saw more than twice in the theater.
Okay, yeah, so that's a yes. That's a hard yes. Okay, cool, thank you.
What about Tropic
Phone
Thunder?
to friend.
What about Tropic Thunder? What
Phone
about
to
Tropic
friend.
Thunder?
Well,
Kevin-
you know, Robert Downey Jr. said the only key to winning an Oscar is to not go full retard.
That's true. And somebody did in that film, remember? Simple Jack.
Yes.
Simple Jack did, so he screwed it. He screwed the pooch. Let's see, we got a few comments. Let's see. Dino says, are you the Batman? No, so why you dressed like the Batman? Yep, exactly. Any other quick controversies you want to throw out, Kevin? I know you put in a couple extra pictures.
Oh, yes. What about, I almost forgot about this, Rob Lowe. He did a dance number with Snow White
Yeah?
at one of the Oscar ceremonies. And the reason why it was controversial is because he was in a recent sex tape scandal involving a underage young lady. So you think about Disney, you think about Snow White. There's kind of a little creep factor there, you know.
He was
I guess I
dancing
could
with
see
an animated Snow White?
I'm sorry?
He was dancing with an animated Snow White? Or
No. If you can see the picture there, it's, there was a lady on stage at the Oscar ceremony. They're doing their routine. A lady dressed as Snow
I
White.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom Cruise was great in Tropic Thunder, John. Maria says, how many comic book movies have been nominated for Best Picture? Crickets.
Black Panther 2.
Black Panther. Black Panther 1 was as well.
Black Panther.
And also
And
Avengers.
I believe
Has
Avengers
Wakanda
Endgame.
been officially nominated?
Well, tomorrow
For
the
the
nominations, but I
Grammys.
believe it's going to come out.
All right,
The
we'll
I
first
see.
believe
Black
there'll be a
Panther was
nomination.
nominated. The first Black Panther was nominated.
With the 10 nominations.
And
I don't see why it
wrongfully
won't
so nominated, Kevin, for Best Picture. The first Black Panther did not deserve to be nominated for Best Picture. That third act was hot trash, and we all goddamn know it.
Ooh, wow.
Sorry.
Man.
Sorry.
Brother,
There's better superhero films out there, and it's not the Black Panther.
There's about to be 3 extra people about to knock on your door and want to
That's
fight
fine.
you.
Let them come.
Fighting words.
I got fisticuffs ready. I got Jack
Okay.
Do we think of
Johnson
anything
and John
where-
Henry Irons right here waiting for him.
Okay,
Were
I
the
got another one for you,
Christopher
Donald.
Reeves,
Mhm.
You guys, Superman's never nominated, no?
Probably for like technical achievements and stuff, but never for
Maybe like
Best
visual
Picture.
effects. Maybe like visual effects for like
Yeah.
the person. Donald, I got another one for you.
Yes.
The first Superman I
Angela
would have loved
Jolie,
to have won.
open mouth kissing her brother.
To be fair, he's got some lips.
Really?
I mean, look at him. He's got some lips.
That's still pretty disturbing.
Am I wrong, Kevin? Look at those lips. Are those not kissable lips on that man? What do you mean, oh God, Janet? You're looking right at his lips.
Those definitely are kissable lips.
Thank you, Chris. Janet, are those kissable lips or are they not?
Puking.
Those are full lips.
Ugh.
Don't look at the rest of them. Just look at his lips, Janet.
Siblings
Just look at his
look
lips.
exactly the same.
All right, look.
Ugh.
I'm going to enlarge it real quick, and I'm just going to look. I'm going to bring it over in the corners so you can just see the lips there. There you go. There's the lips.
Oh.
Yeah, you'd be
I
smooching
look
on
at-
them lips. Anyway,
And here's another one. This is kind of funny. From about 50 years ago, Marlon Brando's boycott of accepting his Oscar, and the Native American woman, Sachin Littlefeather, went to read off a letter of why he wasn't accepting his Oscar.
let me see if I can find it here.
Yeah, and John Wayne, I heard, was trying to get on stage to choke her out or something.
Oh, he was mad.
He was
You're talking
pissed.
about Marlon Brando?
Yeah, Marlon Brando.
There we go.
He wouldn't accept his Oscar.
Littlefeather.
For,
Sachin
Yeah, it
Littlefeather.
was.
The Godfather.
Yeah, he was boycotting the film industry.
Yes,
Yep.
Marlon Brando was, and he had her come up and accept it and say that he declined it, if I recall, because of the way that I think Native Americans were portrayed in films or being treated. And, of course, the Duke, the guy
Duke.
that's in every Western, drew umbrage with that. He had an issue. Here's the thing, though. There's a recent controversy behind this, is that they said that she wasn't even I can't remember what it was. Like she didn't believe in the cause, or she wasn't full Native American, or she there was something that she did. There was some recent controversy behind it. I think it was her sister that stated that she wasn't fully equipped to handle this situation. There's something. I don't know. Just look it up. Google it. But I remember there being a controversy recently behind this whole thing that was re-brought up, which I was not aware of.
Oh, interesting.
But my memory's shit, so go with it. Just look it up.
The controversy that I remember that I think is really interesting is it's not true. It could be true. It could not be true. It's rumors. It's controversy. It's Marissa Tomei's win for My Cousin Vinny, where a lot of people think that it was not supposed to be her that won.
And they want to win.
I don't know, but Jack Palance, like he like paused, took a minute, and it said Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
And so no one really knows for sure.
The Oscar ballot got messed up, the printing?
No, that he said he said a different name. He like picked the name he thought deserved to win. And he said it, and that she accepted it. And that's what everyone's saying. That's the controversy that everyone's saying. The Academy denies it, but you don't never know. You never know.
It's a secret organization, so it's true. It's possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
I really appreciated her role in My Cousin Vinny, though. Not just her acting, but I can't memorize all that stuff about repairing a car or a sink or all of the other technical things that you memorized. And to have been able to say all of that clearly as she said it.
Yeah. It's very,
it was like an SAT test.
Dino says it best. He says Jolie and her brother look like vampires.
He's not wrong. Not wrong.
I think that's going to be good, though. I think we're going to call it there, right, Kevin? Is that it?
Oh, well, there was one more good one
more?
you can't forget.
Okay.
David Niven and the Streaker.
Oh, there he is in the background.
A guy ran up on stage. He was like some photographer. He stormed on the stage naked. And so David Niven says, well, isn't it fascinating to think that probably the only laugh that this man will ever get in his life is by stripping off and showing his shortcomings?
Oh, well played, David Niven.
Yep.
Well played.
Wow.
All right. Well, gee, well, with that,
showing it.
I want to reach out to everybody here in the audience. I want to let them know that right now it's literally National Hot Sauce Day. National Hot Sauce Day.
Ooh, nice.
So if you type in your coupon code Donald Hiccups, you go to halfshotsauce.com, and I'll type it in here. And you type in the coupon code Donald Hiccups, you'll get 10% off your order now on hot sauce. Since it's National Hot Sauce Day, help out some small hot sauce companies that are trying to expand, trying to grow and flourish and bring deliciousness to you. Also, check out splatteredfrog.com. Type in the coupon code SHORTBOX and save 20% off your order. They have a bunch of koozies, hats, t-shirts, all kinds of fun stuff, pint glasses and things that you can enjoy. They are a nano brewery that's hoping to become a microbrewery soon. And we will be having some of their flavors and some of their beers hopefully soon here at the Real Short Box. So we'll be taste testing live. Chris needs to tell his brother. But we also next week are having a fantastic live show on Monday where we will be ranking Star Trek, the original Star Trek movies. We will be ranking them in accordance from awesome to suck, and starting with suck and working our way down to awesome, I think is probably best. We'll do it that way. So I want to thank again Chris, Kevin, and of course our very special guest Janet for being a part of this.
Thank you so much.
And I want to thank you, the audience, for watching this. We love you all. We appreciate you. And if we, Kevin, I don't know, what's our tagline now?
Well, we could say we'll see you next time at the illustrious, honorable Rumble Pop.
It was very effervescent
show.
Too, if I recall. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you're thirsty, you can open up a nice Rumble Pop.
Oh, hey, that's a great one,
I like
Chris.
that.
And if you're thirsty, perhaps you can open up a nice Rumble Pop. Oh, yeah, that rings. All right.
My brain.
Good night,
Tasty.
everybody.
Bye.